Welcome back to the shop. I'm Jeff from Today's Craftsman, and if you've been following for any amount of time, you know that we use several different spray systems here in the shop to do our finishing, and we've moved from one to another, and now we're on to the third, and we want to show you why this one is better and faster. Promotional support for this episode is provided by Quick Screws. Since 1987, Quick Screws has been a leader in both quality and performance. With warehouses in California and South Carolina, Quick Screws can deliver anywhere in the U.S. within 4 days. Quick Screws' highly trained personnel are ready to get you the product you need when you need it. Find out more at quickscrews.com. I'm standing next to the newest spray setup in the shop. I want to thank Titan for sending this out. I reached out to them about this specifically, and they were kind enough to send it over. This is the Multifinish 440. So the Impact 440 is probably the most popular airless spray setup in the whole market, as far as I see it. And this is the Multifinish 440. So this has the 440 pump, but you see we have this extra bit back here. This is a compressor. So we have two hoses. This is currently set up to run air-assisted airless. So it's an airless pump. You have your fluid coming in here to the front, and we have air going to the back. So we're able to deliver air to the air cap, and that helps atomize the finish. So we're able to run this at a lower pressure and still atomize the paint. And this can run two different types of guards and tips. So this guard here, this will actually run your standard reversible tips. So this is the same type of tip that you would use with your airless sprayer. And you can run this airless, you know, with a gun like this. So this is the RX80 gun, or the RX Pro. But we're running it exclusively air-assisted airless in the shop. So you can use these reversible tips. Very common. You can find these anywhere. And if you have an airless setup, you know, you can use them interchangeably, or you can run these. These are the Brilliant flat tips, and they use this guard and air cap. And this is what I'm currently running in the shop. So we're getting great finish with these, and we're able to deliver a lot of material very, very quickly. So this is, I think, 3,300 PSI, and it'll spray about half a gallon a minute. So a lot faster than what we've been using before. It's allowed me to really increase the speed that I'm finishing. You know, I was able to do 48 doors in about an hour by myself a couple weeks ago. So that's very fast. And the beauty for me is, you know, if you've been watching, you know that I use typically a cup gun. So I have a gun that has a cup on the top, and it'll hold, you know, 14 ounces of finish, or you use a big cup that holds a little bit more, but it's very heavy. This, you can stick a whole 5-gallon bucket of paint underneath, and you can spray, you know, for half a day. So that's the beauty here, is there's no stopping and refilling, and we get the finish onto the work a lot faster. But that's enough of looking at it. Let's take it over there. We'll get it set up, and we'll spray some finish. Little wardrobe change, and we've moved the sprayer over here to where, you know, where I keep it when we spray. You want to have this, they say, at least 25 feet away from where you're spraying. It has a 50-foot hose, so plenty of length. What we need to do is prime the machine, and we need to set up the gun to spray. So first thing we need to do is clear out the pump guard. So when you're done, you need to put pump guard into the machine, which helps keep everything lubricated. So we need to flush that out first. So I have just a bucket of water here. Can drop the siphon tube into this clean water. And now we need to prime the pump. So in order to prime the pump, I have everything plugged in. This is our spray prime lever here. We're going to drop it down to prime. We have our pump here set to the minimum. And we're going to take this return tube, and we're going to put it into an empty bucket. We'll turn on the machine, and we're going to wait until we have clean water coming out. So what's going to come out in the beginning might have a slight blue hue to it. That's the pump guard. So when it's clean, we know that the pump has been primed with clean water. I'll hold this up so you can see. So we'll let it run for, say, 20 or 30 seconds. This is also wetting everything. You know, it's wet from before, but wetting everything down with water helps your paint not stick on the inside. So that's probably good. You can turn the machine off. we can put this back in our water. So we're using water here because we're using a water-based finish. If you're using an oil-based finish, you would have mineral spirits here. If you're using a solvent-based finish, you would have your corresponding solvent, be it denatured alcohol or lacquer thinner. So now that the pump is primed, we need to prime the hose and get the water to the gun. So we're going to leave it on that minimum setting. We're going to lift this up to spray. You're going to want to hold on to this because it may jump. And we're going to run water through this hose. Again, it's going to help the paint. So this hose is dry right now. It's going to help the paint not stick when we end up running paint through it. So turn this on. Takes probably about a quart of paint, maybe more, to prime the hose. It's a 50-foot hose. So we'll run some water through here. This is when you want to make sure that you don't have any leaks, which we do. I got to tighten that down a little bit. Let me tighten that down. We'll be right back. All right, so I tightened that back down. That's why you start on minimum pressure. If this was at 3,300 PSI, we would have had an explosion of water. So now we're wetted all the way to the gun. We have all of that pump guard flushed out. So now we need to prime this with our material that we're going to be spraying. So I have right here 2 gallons of our go-to clear. You're going to see why a system like this is so handy today with what we're spraying. This is 2 gallons of Enduro flat polyurethane. This is the Pro Series polyurethane. And it's nice to be able to load 2 gallons of finish in here. So I'm going to swap these out. This is going to drip just a little bit. So we take out our clean water and bring in our finish. So we're going to repeat the priming process. So we have our machine off. We have this drop down to prime. Whoop. It's like SeaWorld, you're in the splash zone, John. We're going to drop this down to prime. And now we can turn the machine on, and we're going to wait until we see finish come out of here. That means that the pump is fully primed with this material. So I'll hold it up. All right, so the pump is primed, and we're going to repeat with the gun. Turn it off, lift it up to spray, and we're going to spray until we see finish come out of the gun. All right. Put our trigger guard on. Now we can head to the booth and set up the gun. We have our first piece of material in the spray booth. This is a 4x8 of 1/2-inch white oak. We're spraying 9 of these today. So that's about 300 square feet. We're doing 2 coats, so 600 square feet of finishing. And the beauty of the Multifinish 440 is that once we set up the pump, we don't have to refill. So with a cup gun, we'd be refilling about every sheet. So it's going to save us a ton of time, and the material is going to come out very fast, much faster than a cup gun, as you'll see. So let's start spraying. We're all ready to spray. You can probably hear the compressor running in the back. That's the onboard compressor on the Multifinish 440. Have everything tuned. It's always good to have a plan on how you're going to attack your piece that you're finishing. So if I was spraying an HVLP, I would probably cross-hatch this. So I would go in this direction and then in this direction. But you can see this lays down a lot of material. So I'm just going to go in one direction with the grain. I'll work on half of the sheet, and then I'll come to the other side and work across. So yeah, that's it. John, if you could hit that fan, we can start spraying. just saw it with your own eyes. That was like a minute and a half to spray this whole sheet, and it's already drying here. It's only been about 5 minutes. So this is, you know, in an hour, we'll be ready to scuff and recoat and we'll be done. I've been really happy with this. I don't even have really the right tip for a big 4x8 like this. This is a pretty narrow tip for doors and face frames, stuff like that, but you can get a wider tip and you'll be able to spray this even faster. So the speed is insane compared to a conventional or an HVLP setup, and there's no reloading. So if this was a cup gun, I would have to stop right now and refill my cup. So no refilling. For this particular product and tip, I was running at about 1100 PSI and 9 pounds of air to the air cap, and I got really nice atomization. So yeah, again, I really want to thank Titan for sending this out. It's really changed the way that we finish here. It's increased our speed and definitely wear and tear on my body. I'm not holding out this big cup of finish, which is great. Yeah, so if you're looking for an air-assisted airless setup, I think it's a great option. Even if you're a small shop, if you're spraying anything a gallon or more, it's going to save you a ton of time and it's going to give you a really nice finish. So be sure to check out Titan. If you have any questions about this sprayer or anything else, be sure to leave a comment and we'll talk to you next week.